Hey everyone, I'm here with a quick video on Love and Marriage Huntsville. The new season started last Saturday, and way back when, I always recap Love and Marriage Huntsville. I fell in love with Love and Marriage DC, and I even watched Love and Marriage Detroit. I can't remember if I actually recapped that show or not, but definitely I watched it. And so, but Love and Marriage Huntsville was definitely my first love, and I used to always recap the show whether I did a video, just a still video, I like to call it, where I didn't do the live recap, I would just recap it that way, like I'm doing right now, or I would, and I did start to recap it live. But with live recaps, it seemed as if somewhere along the line, I don't know when the tables kind of twisted and turned. The people, the fans, the watchers got a little toxic, okay, and the YouTube viewers got a little toxic. It was like if you looked at what you saw on the screen and gave your true point of view according to self, the people will go crazy, right? Let me just try to fix my screen here. The people will go crazy and just, say, oh my God, you're hating this one or you're hating that one or so forth and so on. And you're like, hold on, just like you have your opinion, I have mine. And I feel like the show has gotten to this level, and I blame it primarily on its creator, and that's Carlos King, because I think that Carlos King has the power to stop some of the toxic things that are going on. But I think, like many other business owners, the bottom line is, are we making money? And some business owners, if they're making money, they really don't care how said money is being made. And I feel like Carlos King is at that point, like he doesn't care as long as I make money. He doesn't care about the toxic environment in the cesspool that has been created. And so, with that being said, I'm going to test it out, and I will do my recap in a still video. Don't know if I would ever go back to doing it live, because I don't want to combat with fans or people over a TV show, and people that I don't know, never met in real life, and probably will never have the opportunity to meet them. So, with that being said, this is my recap of Love and Marriage Huntsville, the latest season, which restarted last Saturday. So it kind of starts out with Melody and her brother. Listen, Melody is absolutely gorgeous. Okay, always love when we get to see family. So having her brother there is always a nice addition. But she's talking about how she had to hire security for her home, and she has actual physical security guards, human beings, someone stationed in the front of her home, someone stationed in the back. I don't know if said individuals are there 24/7. I just know that she had to hire these two people, and she said she hired them as a result of she's not sure what Martell Holt may or may not do. And I'm summarizing, guys, because he's toxic. So I'll throw in this point here. If this man is so toxic, and I'm not saying whether he is or is not, why would Carlos King have a show where he has one person on his show that's saying person A that said they're afraid of person B, but he's doing a show where both of these people are on the show together, and that can create some tension in a toxic environment and stress. Because if that was me, I'd be like, okay, well, is he going to be in this scene? Is he showing up? Is he here? The proximity is just too close, right? So why would you have a show where you have one person that says they're afraid of this person and both people work for you? It just doesn't make sense to me. But it makes perfect sense to Carlos King, right? If you want drama and all kinds of stuff for your show. So she talks about that. So Martell was arrested, and he's saying he was arrested for something that happened a couple years ago, based upon text messages that he sent Melody. And the text messages, had to do with where Melody said that he was going to put out revenge P on her, what the P stands for. Instead of corn, do a P in front of it. And also just other messages that these two were having back and forth. And because the messages were, I'm trying to find the right legal wording, but either way, those messages was determined to be, according to, law enforcement, in this arrest warrant that he got, harassing and some other things, and therefore a warrant was put out for his arrest, but they took 2 years almost to arrest him. So he claims he was going to the police station to get a report. He had his kids with him, and they was like, oh, when they looked up his name, there's an arrest warrant out for you. He had to figure out who was going to come get the kids. Miss Marlene, his mother, came and got the kids. He turned himself in. He was in there for a few hours, and then he got out. And Melody is kind of telling her brother, like, listen, I had no clue where my kids were for a few hours. I just know he got arrested. I don't really know all the details of it and how long he was there. She said, I just know there's a time period, a window where I didn't know, like, if my kids were okay or what happened, because she said not even my kids called me, right? So Melanie brother, Marcus was there talking to her. He cooked the breakfast. And Melanie did say that he was arrested like around 4 p.m., released around 7, and that Miss Marlene picked up the kids. And she also told her brother how Martell was going to try to put out, a video that they made together of them having, adult relations, and, as revenge to kind of get back at her, right? And Martell, she said, Martell says that, when he was talking to Miss Marlene, he was pretty much saying, like, and that's his mom, he was pretty much saying that he doesn't get it. He just wants this thing to stop, and he feels like Melody and Melody fans are just coming after him and coming against him, right? So this thing was kind of focused on, Carlos King actually coming to Huntsville and doing a tour, because Carlos King does his podcast on YouTube. Okay, he calls his followers or his subscribers the raindrops, and Melody has her millimeters. So he did a live podcast, and Melody came, and Carlos did it with her. They had a sold out crowd. And at the podcast, he kind of was asking Melody questions about her relationship, about Martell being arrested, about how, she said she wasn't satisfied sexually in the relationship. And, he was just asking her different messy, I'm going to say, questions about the show. And she was answering them. But the messiest of it all, which I think was wrong of Carlos King, is that Destiny this season is going to talk about how her old producer for the show, Love and Marriage Huntsville, ended up not just dating her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend, but married him. And initially, allegedly, Sunny is her name, the producer, was telling Destiny that it's so convoluted, was telling Destiny that her boyfriend Moses was her cousin. So who marries their cousin? Where they do that at? So at the end of the day, Destiny feels like both Moses and Sunny, the producer, played in her face. And so Carlos King at the podcast asked Melody, what do you think about this? And then he said, hold on, hold tight. And he brings Sunny and Moses to the stage. I just think it is super messy that the boss is in the mess of the talent. Where do they do that at? If anything, the boss is supposed to diffuse the mess between the talent, but instead he's in the midst of the mess and just creating and adding more fuel to that fire. So therefore, I think Carlos is just so messy. Now, Stormy meant to visit Nell at Nell's daycare. Stormy looks amazing. Looks like she lost a lot of weight. And they kind of had a conversation about Kiki. And all last season, and Love and Marriage Huntsville seasons are not the same as Bravo seasons. But either way, all last season, last year, or whatever, Kiki, when she was on the show, it seems as if she was still struggling with substances. But in addition to that, Kiki seemed like she got in bed, and not physically in bed, but in bed with a lot of bloggers. So she was sending bloggers, scenes before they were shown on the show, allegedly, and giving bloggers a lot of intel. But then Kiki, when she got busted, she kind of said, like, no, I wasn't giving the information. My mother was. So Nell and Stormy was kind of talking about that. And, they also talked about how Martell got arrested, and Nell was pretty much like, I wouldn't have got my baby's father, arrested. But she said, I don't know how to feel about that. And Stormy asked her, was she going to the podcast? Nell said no, because the tickets were sold out. But Stormy said she did purchase several tickets to the show, and she definitely was going to go there. And Nell and Stormy also talked about Destiny's situation and the Moses thing. And, I think everybody, and how could you not, are giving this Destiny, her ex-boyfriend, and the ex-producer this side eye, and so am I. At the end of the day, Destiny is probably better off, but at the front of the day, it's still so messed up that someone such as your producer for the show, who you tell all your intimate details to, was dating your boyfriend behind your back. It's just so messy, right? And so, although Destiny said, yeah, she did call her at one point, the producer Sunny, and said, listen, like, we're dating. And Destiny said, well, isn't that your cousin? It was just a hot mess, but Destiny says she hasn't spoken to her since, right? And so now Sunny and Moses are going to be on the show, which I think is just super messy. And I think, to me personally, that's the only reason why Carlos brought Destiny back, so that she could suffer. And I would hope that there's never a day where I need a check that bad. But so I feel for Destiny and everything she's gone through, but maybe this is going to be her comeback and her come up. We'll see. So Destiny goes and she visits Letitia. That home, from the kitchen view that I saw, absolutely gorgeous. And I'm talking about Letitia's home. Destiny comes in, she kind of talks about her situation between the producer and Moses, and Letitia says, that's messed up. And both of those two say, listen, we're not going to Carlos King podcast, okay? Because neither one of them at this moment are feeling Melody, right? And so the podcast for, I'm trying to see where I'm at here. The podcast was definitely successful because, as I said, they said it sold out. Melody looked good. Carlos was Carlos. I mean, what do you want? And again, I said it's messy that, it's messy that Carlos brought Sunny and Moses out on the stage, but we're not going to get to see exactly what they said until this Saturday coming up, right? Let me see. Oh, and Carlos said at the podcast, so last season, Martell there's a scene where Melody and Martell meet up. And Martell brings Melody flowers. She doesn't accept the flowers. She really doesn't kind of accept his apology. And Martell later on, post-season, through the blogs, through the social media, Martell said that production set him up. He claimed that he asked production, is Melody okay with meeting me? Is Melody okay with me bringing her these flowers? They claimed yes. And so that's why he did it. He said he did it only to get set up and look like a fool yet again. So Carlos King, during this live podcast with him and Melody and this tour that he did, he claims that Martell is a liar, that absolutely did not go down that way. And he pretty much, listen, none of us know the truth from the not true, but he pretty much threw Martell under the bus and said that Martell is a liar. I can't call it either way. It just seems to me, I don't feel like Martell will lie about that. But listen, people have lied about stuff that was less important. So I don't know. But what I do know is that production will set you up no matter who you are so that they can have a good show. Okay. Martell did say when he was arrested, he did wish that his children wasn't with him. Who wants to be arrested in front of their kids? It's a hot mess. The fact that, the producer that married Moses, Destiny's ex-producer married Moses, is just bananas and crazy. I will say this for the most part. It was a good opening first, show. And we're going to see what's to come. But overall, I feel that the show is probably so toxic because their creator is very toxic. And that's just my opinion. And who is the creator? I'm talking about Carlos King. When you could do a whole podcast and you get up, you're doing live and you're doing messiness that's hurting several people on your cast, it doesn't make sense to me. And even, because so many people get hot and heavy when Martell's name is mentioned. But even if we push him to the side, forget about Martell Hope for 1 minute, Destiny. Why would you do this to Destiny? You got a producer who used to produce Destiny, who is now married to Destiny's ex-boyfriend. And the timeline seems a little shady and crazy. And then allegedly she told Destiny that was her cousin. Why would you even put those people on a show, and why would you even do this? It's a whole hot mess. But listen, guys, are you watching Love and Marriage Huntsville? If so, did you see it last Saturday, the new season? What are your thoughts? Let me know. Chat with me in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. Overall, like I said, I think in some way, shape, or form, I will always love Love and Marriage Huntsville. But in another way, am not here for like toxic. I just that's just not how I do my everyday life. I don't mind recapping the show, but when I recap it only for people to be like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah," it's too much, especially because I don't know these people. But it was a good opening season, and we're going to see how it goes. It's the same thing for me with Love and Marriage DC. I love Love and Marriage DC, but it got to like toxic to like the 20th power. And I'm just like, do I want to do this? Do I want to recap this? I didn't know how I felt about it. And the season finale, like the reunion for Love and Marriage DC, it was a lot. It was a lot. Maybe one day I'll talk about it. I don't know. We shall see. But listen, guys, thanks for watching. Chat with me. I will chat back. Hit the like button. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that every time I upload a video, you will be notified. If you are a subscriber, welcome back. Everybody, thanks for watching. Don't forget, hit the like button, guys. I'll see you in the next video. If you really, 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 really want me to recap this show live, chat with me and let me know, and I will think about it. But thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.